So at this point, I really don't know how many examples I need to give you to demonstrate how Donald Trump is a puppet of corporate America, but nonetheless, we've got another one. So, do you know how pharmaceutical industries are literally blackmailing governments and extorting citizens to boost profits? Well, Donald Trump will be signing an executive order that will make it easier for them to do that. Talk about winning. There's been a lot of winning since he's been elected, but it's not for you and me. It's for big business and now big pharma. So according to Business Insider, the New York Times reports that the Trump White House is about to put out an executive order on drug pricing, and it looks as if the whole thing were basically written by big pharma. In other words, America, we've just been sold out on the price of drugs. According to the report and similar reporting from Kaiser Health News and Politico, a draft executive order includes nothing to curb prices. Instead, drug companies would be in line to get more power to charge monopoly prices overseas and be allowed to give even fewer discounts to hospitals with poor patients, and the administration is promising to roll back regulations that pharma has complained about. This can all be traced back to a meeting President Donald Trump had with pharmaceutical CEOs back in January. There, he basically outlined that he would be doing everything that's in the draft executive order, but he also told executives, you have to keep your prices down. That was it. Then, they all got in their private jets and flew back to their corner offices. That day, the Nasdaq Biotechnology Index had its best day in weeks, gaining nearly 3% as the market indicated that no one was afraid of the big bad Trump. Now, to be fair, there is one tiny measure in Trump's draft executive order that seems to hint at helping, basically taking PBM rebates out of Medicare. Of course, it's unclear how this order would tackle that, as there are no specifics and this would have to be legislated. Another interesting idea mentioned in the proposed order is value-based drug pricing, paying drug companies for the value a drug brings to society or an individual. That could be a killer for some drug companies that make incredibly expensive drugs for rare diseases, but again, nothing concrete on that measure. This toothless executive order is the result of asking some of the richest CEOs in America what to do about a problem they don't want to solve, and it settles something about the Trump administration. If you were hoping that the populist Trump from the campaign trail would keep some of the promises he made to his base, you can stop now. Trump is not for his base. He's not for anyone. He's a corporatist, and he will continue letting corporations make decisions that his White House is either too lazy or too incompetent to make to the detriment of Americans, whether they voted for him or not. Yeah, so I don't know what happened to the populist rhetoric, but if you voted for Donald Trump, you can feel pretty stupid right about now, because this is something that obviously will not benefit anyone. So Donald Trump has proven time and again that he is a corporate puppet, and his voters still trust him, and I don't get it. And look, not to just harp on Donald Trump, this is the Republican way. Donald Trump is, he's an establishment Republican. So this is what any Republican president would probably do. So I don't understand how people can still justify voting Republican. The Democratic Party is garbage. We all know that. But to vote Republican is you voting against your own interests. They don't like you. They want nothing to do with you. They are elected only to serve the interests of their donors. They don't care about you. They don't care about pharmaceutical prices. And I love how Donald Trump, he stated in here, or it states in here that he told them that the prices have got to come down. Oh yeah, I'm sure they're going to listen to you, Donald Trump. It reminds me of when Hillary Clinton allegedly went to Wall Street and she said, hey, you cut it out. I mean, this is the type of people that we have running the country. People who are completely spineless and unwilling to stand up to the large multinational corporations after Donald Trump berated his own colleagues and peers for doing what he's doing now. Donald Trump is a snake oil salesman. He's gone back on basically every single one of his promises, with the exception of a couple, and his voters still stick by his side, proving that they are on Team Trump. They don't care about the policy substance. They don't care that he ran as a populist. They care about, you know, their team winning. So it's incredibly frustrating because we see this phenomenon on the left with Hillary Clinton and her being just this god to people like Peter Dow and Neera Tanden, but we also see it on the right as well. They both have their heads so far up the person who they admire's asses that they can't even see sunlight anymore. And they say that we do this with Bernie Sanders. They say that we're a cult of personality with Bernie Sanders and we follow him like he's a cult leader. I call out Bernie Sanders all the time. So do Bernie Sanders' own supporters. So I think that the people who are making this claim, they need to look in the mirror. What Donald Trump just did here, or what he's about to do in signing this executive order, it's awful. There's no way you can justify it. He's just straight up doing the bidding of big pharma CEOs, and he should be ashamed of himself. And if you voted for Trump and still support him, it's time to look in the mirror, because you're a hack. You are a hack if you voted for Donald Trump and you still support him. You should be embarrassed.
Support this podcast by joining the independent progressive media revolution today at humanistreport.com.